Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. The Middle East faces a dangerous non-war, non-peace stalemate. According to Tsingtao, Iran's official television released a cinematic video on Thursday, April 23rd, showing masked special forces forcibly boarding a large cargo ship, the MSC Francesca, in the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran reiterated that seized vessels are subjected to legal action for unauthorized passage, vowing to keep the vital global energy route closed unless the U.S. lifts its naval blockade on Iranian ports. Meanwhile, Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, has threatened to resume attacks, stating that the military is awaiting a U.S. green light. Katz warned of fatal and devastating strikes, explicitly targeting Iran's supreme leader Mojtaba, and asserted the goal is to send Iran back to the Dark Ages. U.S. President Trump countered on social media, claiming Washington has full control of the strait, calling it tightly blockaded until Iran reaches an agreement. The U.S. military also reportedly intercepted a supertanker with 2 million barrels of crude oil in the Indian Ocean. The escalating tension saw air defense systems activated in Tehran, and international oil prices surged once again. Seoul, April 24th. Yonhap News Agency. The customs agency chiefs of South Korea and Japan recently convened a meeting in Seoul, focusing on strategies to facilitate trade between the two nations amidst increasing global trade uncertainties. Korea Customs Service, KCS, Commissioner Lee Myung-koo, and his Japanese counterpart, Mitsuhiro Tereoka, held their first meeting since the inauguration of new governments in their respective countries. A key outcome was the mutual agreement to collaborate on the swift implementation of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, a major free trade agreement involving 15 Asia-Pacific nations, including South Korea, Japan, China, and Australia. To achieve this, both sides committed to initiating discussions on developing electronic systems for exchanging origin certifications. Furthermore, they agreed to establish regular meetings to address measures preventing the inflow of illegal or harmful goods, a growing concern due to the surge in cross-border e-commerce shipments. The officials also discussed strengthening economic security and enhancing exchanges between regional customs agencies. The Canadian press reports that a U.S. soldier, Gannon Ken Van Dyke, has been charged by federal officials for allegedly using classified information to secure over $400,000 in an online betting market. Van Dyke, a 38-year-old master sergeant stationed at Fort Bragg, was reportedly involved in the military operation to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in January 2026. He participated in the planning and execution of the mission from December 8, 2025, and signed non-disclosure agreements regarding sensitive information. Officials allege that Van Dyke created a Polymarket account and placed around 13 yes bets on wagers, such as U.S. forces being in Venezuela and Maduro being out by January 31, 2026. After winning, he allegedly moved most of the funds to a foreign cryptocurrency vault and then to a new brokerage account, later asking Polymarket to delete his account. FBI Director Kash Patel emphasized that all clearance holders attempting to profit from their access and knowledge will be held accountable. The charges include unlawful use of confidential government information for personal gain, theft of non-public government information, commodities fraud, wire fraud, and making an unlawful monetary transaction, which could lead to years in prison. The report also references previous incidents of unusual betting patterns on prediction markets involving classified information. A U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on April 22nd, titled Stealing in Plain Sight, China's Ongoing Theft of American Innovation, saw bipartisan lawmakers and experts warn that the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is systematically stealing U.S. technology. According to Epoch Times, the CCP employs espionage, unfair trade practices, and legal loopholes to acquire innovation in critical areas like artificial intelligence, biopharmaceuticals, and military technology. Senator Tom Tillis stated these thefts cost the U.S. economy $400, $600 billion annually, about $5,000 per taxpayer, and warned that China is shifting from an imitator to innovator, potentially altering the U.S.-China strategic competitive landscape. Senator Ted Cruz likened the CCP's actions to parasitism, highlighting the stark contrast between decades of U.S. innovation and China's rapid replication through theft. Experts emphasized the imbalance, with U.S. companies fighting a state-level adversary. Recommendations included whistleblower incentives, enhanced background checks for foreign influence, and strengthening critical infrastructure protection. On its 11th Space Day, China highlights the global benefits of its Chang'e lunar exploration program. People's Daily Online reports. Upcoming is Chang'e 7, slated for a late 2026 launch to survey the lunar South Pole. Over the past decade, the program has achieved significant milestones, including Chang'e 4's first soft landing on the moon's far side, Chang'e 5's sampling of young lunar material, and Chang'e 6's pioneering sample return from the far side. These missions have led to new scientific discoveries, providing crucial evidence for lunar research, such as extending the history of volcanic activity and addressing geological asymmetry. Beyond lunar studies, the program has advanced deep space exploration technologies, like the Queqiao relay satellites for far-side communication and the strategic use of Lagrange points. Notably, China actively promotes international collaboration, integrating payloads from various countries on its Chang'e missions and opening its lunar samples for global scientific application. The International Lunar Research Station, ELRS, also sees 17 countries joining China's future lunar efforts. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.